Hello everyone, today we're going through chapter 1, its second part, and we'll get started with example 4. So what we're going to do here is we're going to expand these expressions and simplify. So basically what we're doing is we're turning the expression from this form into another form. So we're basically multiplying out, and I'll show you how to do it effectively. So first of all, I'll focus on this first bracket, and I'll focus on x specifically. So I'll multiply out x first. So I'm going to do x times x, and I'm going to add that to x times 2. So I'll do it by turn, right? So that's 2x, because x times 2 is 2x. Now that I'm done with x, I'll move on to 5, and I'll multiply 5 times x, which is 5x, then 5 times 2, that is 10. But yeah, I'll just keep it like this so you can see the steps with me. So now I'm simplifying. So now that I've expanded, I'm going to simplify. That is x squared, because these two share the same term x. So we can add the numbers together and we're going to get 7x. And 5 times 2 is simply 10. Now I'm done with this one, right? So I'll move on to the next one. So we have x times x squared. Then I'm going to add it to x times 1. So x times x squared, I'm going to write it here, plus x times 1, which is simply 1. No need to write it like that. And then I'm going to move on to the second one, which is minus 2y. So I take it as a whole, plus minus 2y. Okay, and I'll keep it between brackets so it doesn't confuse the sign, times x squared, and then minus 2y times 1, which is simply minus 2y. Okay, so x times x squared from the previous video, from the index law, if they have the same base, we can add the powers together, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So it's x to the power 3 plus x minus 2y x squared minus 2y. Can we simplify this expression any further? The answer is no, so we'll keep it as it is, and we'll move on to the next expression. So this one, it's written in a square form, but this, what it simply means is that x minus y is multiplied by itself twice. So I'll write it in this form so it's easy for me to apply the concept of expanding. So x times x here, then x times minus y, that's what I'm going to do. X times x plus x times minus y. And now I'm going to move on to my minus y. Okay, so plus minus y times x plus minus y times minus y. Okay, so now we're going to simplify. So x times x is x squared, x times minus y. Okay, so again, we need to be careful with the signs. And I'm going to write minus because plus times minus is minus xy. And then here, minus xy again. It doesn't matter whether you write minus yx or x minus xy because it's the same. And then minus times minus is a plus. Y times y is y squared. And we can simplify it one further step, which is because they share the term xy, so it's minus 2, we can add them together and it gives us minus 2. And y squared remains as itself. Okay, now we're done with this one, and we have one more example, one more expression in this example. We still have one more example to go. So here, this second bracket has 3 terms, but we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go one line down so I have more space. X times 3x. So I'm focusing on x only now. X times minus 2y plus x times minus 4, right? And then I'll move on to y plus y times 3x plus y times minus 2y plus y times minus 4. So I'm just doing the thing without thinking about simplifying anything. Then on to the next step where I'll be simplifying and calculating. So 3x squared plus x times, oh yeah, so minus 2xy. Okay, because x times y is xy. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2. And then I have minus 4x plus 3y x or 3xy. And then this one is minus 2. As the sign, it should be minus. Don't forget that. Minus 2y squared, because y times y is y squared. Then minus 4y. Can we simplify this any further? The answer is yes. As you can see, this one and that one, they share the same term xy. So we can add 3 to minus 2 and it gives you a 1. So plus xy minus 4x. So I'm going to write the other terms as they are. Minus 2y squared minus 4y. Perfect. So I'm done with example 4. Now let's move on to example 5, where we get more practice. Now instead of 3, now we have 3 expressions being multiplied together, and we have to expand. So we have, so the trick with this one is you work with 2 together, and then once that's expanded, then you can go on and work with another 2. So you can't work with them 3 at a time, but you do 2, and then it becomes 1, and then that one with the other one. With this trick, you can multiply even like 4 expressions, 5 expressions, it doesn't matter. You just have to be careful with the signs as you go through the steps. But enough talking, I'll just get on and do this question. So x times 5x, again between brackets, plus x times minus 3y. So basically what I did, I just expanded these two. And then it equals 2x minus y plus 4. And before I expand, now I'm going to simplify. 5x squared minus 3xy times 2x minus y plus 4 as it is. So now I have reduced it to 2 brackets. So now what we can do what we did in example 4, the same thing. So 5x squared times 2x plus 5x squared times minus y plus 5x squared times 4. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the second part of the first bracket, which is minus 3xy. So minus 3xy times 2x minus 3xy times minus y. I'll put it in between the brackets so we don't confuse the signs. The plus and the minuses. It's a bit tricky when there's a lot of minuses, but you just have to be careful. It's as simple as any other example we've done before. Minus 3xy times 4. That is perfect. So now I have to simplify. The 5 times 2 is 10. X squared times x is x cubed. This one, again, we put the sign. So my sign here is minus. And then 5 times 1 is minus 5. And x squared y. And here, 4 times 5 is 20. So I get 20x squared. Let me write it clearly. So here, minus 3 times 2. Again, the sign is minus. And the calculation is 6. And x times x is x squared times y. And this one, so you go one by one. Minus 3 times minus, so it's a plus. My sign is a plus. I write my 3. as it's the only number there. And then it becomes xy squared. And the last one is minus 12xy. So, can we further simplify it? That is the question. And the answer for this question is yes. Because this term and this term over here, they share the same term x squared y, so we can add minus 5 to minus 6. So we end up with everything else, with these two being reduced to x squared minus 11, x squared times y, and I'll write everything else as the previous expression. So you just have to really pay attention, see if there's anything you can actually simplify. But now we're done. So we'll do the same strategy for this one. It's literally the same thing. So I'm going to work with these two first. So x times 2x is 2x squared plus 3x. And that's this one being simplified or multiplied out, being expanded to be specific. And times x minus 7. So now I'm going to apply whatever knowledge I've learned so far. And I'm going to multiply 2x squared times x plus 2x squared times minus 7. And then I move on to my 3x, and it's going to be 3x times x plus 3x times minus 7. And now, okay, I'll just write a bit smaller. And now I'm going to simplify, and I'm going to get 2x to the power 3 minus, that is my sign, and then the calculation is 2 times 7 is minus 14, and then I move to x squared, which says it the same. Then we have plus 3x squared, and the last term will be minus 21x. Any simplification to be done? Yes, because these two share the same term, so they're gonna be 2x to the power 3, and I suppose this is minus 11x squared plus, oh no, minus 21x. Okay, and one more. So this one, instead of x, we have a whole expression x minus 4, but it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. It could be anything. We will do it regardless. So x times, so I'm going to focus on these two first. You can do this one and or this one and that one, whatever, and then do it with x plus 3 at the end. But I just follow the order of the example I have, but it doesn't really matter. They all lead to the same right answer. So x times x plus x times 3 minus 4 times x minus 4 times 3. So, and I'll write my x plus 1. Don't forget about that one. So x times x is x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 12. And I'll write my x1. X plus 1. So I can simplify here. 3x minus 4x is minus x minus 12. So I can do that to make things easy for later. And then I can proceed. Okay, so again, you can flip the order, but let's just follow the order of what we have right now. So x squared. So if you decide to follow this order, so you do x squared and you do it with whatever terms, once you're done, then you move to the next one. Once you're done, you move to the next one until it's like a queue basically. Just do it in a queuing kind of system. So x squared times x plus x squared times 1. So I'm done with x squared. I'm going to move to minus x, which I'll multiply with everything else. Minus x times x minus x times 1. And then I'll move on to minus 12. Minus 12 times x minus 12 times 1. So I'm doing it as simple as like in like as many steps as possible. So just to show you the overall picture. Um x squared times x is x to the power 3 plus x squared minus x squared minus x, right? So all I'm doing right now is just simplifying. Minus 12x minus 12, okay? And even if you've done it the other way around, flipping this, like putting it forward here and doing x times and then like you moving, it's gonna be the same answer. So now I'm gonna simplify. X to the power 3 exists on its own, so there is no further simplification to be done. Again, here you can see that this one, they're the same, but they have different signs, so it cancels out. Like it's just like saying 1 minus 1 is 0, you know? Whatever. Potato minus a potato is 0, basically. So that becomes 0, and minus x, because they share the same term, so they're gonna become minus 13x minus 12. And this should mark the end of this lesson. I shall see you in the next one. Bye.